Hey guys, and welcome to my October book haul. So I feel like this thing is even more appropriate for my October book haul thing because, you know, it was Halloween. If I had this for Halloween, I probably would have walked around in it. I didn't get this until after. It was $13 at Walmart, in case you guys are wondering, and they didn't have the other houses, so that was sad. But hey, still got this. So moving on, let's go ahead. Now I did get one gift and all this mess, so but it's one that's going to be easily recognizable, and you guys should just pause it right here now and think about what came out in October that I could have gotten as a gift. I'm going to guess that you could probably guess. If you guys guessed right, let me know. So let's go on. I will leave my 2017 shelf down below. Once again, those are all the books that I have purchased throughout the year 2017. There was a lot of them, but that's where you can find most of the ones I am about to show you. So moving on, let's start with the books I got from Audible. So the first thing that I got was Coraline by Neil Gaiman. I have seen most of the movie a little bit, but I've never read the book, and I've been wanting to, so I snapped this up when Audible was having their kids sale. And then I got the Graveyard Book Full Cast by Neil Gaiman as well. I have read the physical copy of the Graveyard Book, and I also own the one that is read by Neil Gaiman, but I haven't listened to it yet. So whenever I read this book, at least twice from now, I will listen to the full cast and then the one that's just read by Neil Gaiman, and I'm really looking forward to that because I really love that story. And so the next thing that I got was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which I have never known really was a series until I actually looked it up on Goodreads a while ago. But so I have read this one and listened to it. It was fantastic, and it was just like nostalgia and all the feels, and I really feel like Johnny Depp really embodied who Charlie, like the crazy guy who owns the factory, while Gene Wilder just like that's the original version and you love him, and he made him seem like sane, but like he wasn't sane, okay? He was crazy. Yeah, crazy. Moving on, let me know if you guys have seen either of those movies, and if you've seen both, which one do you prefer? I like them both for different reasons. And then the next thing that I got was Alcatraz versus the Seaver's Bones, The Knights of the Crystal, The Shattered Lens, and The Dark Talent, which is books 2 through 5 on audio. I own the whole series on Audible. They're all by Brandon Sanderson. And so I just decided, I own the first one physical, but after the sale I was like, no, I'll just get all the audiobooks instead, and if I really love it then I'll get the physical books. But it's about this boy, and he is of course Alcatraz versus the evil librarians, and that's really going to be interesting. I've heard good things about the series. And then I got The Apprentice Witch by James Nichol. This is another middle grade series, and this one follows this girl who like fails her like witch test again, so she's just an apprentice and she's sent to this town, and she's kind of finding her footing as an apprentice and as becoming a better witch, but then dark things are afoot. And then the next thing I got was The Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. I believe this is a series. There is a movie coming out about it, I believe. I'm not sure if there's one before, I think maybe, but this one's always just kind of been on my list, so I decided, hey, why not, let's go ahead, finally read it. And then the next thing that I got was Geekerella by Ashley Poston, and this one I was on the fence about. That's why when I saw it on Audible, I decided just to go ahead and get it there. I believe it's about this girl, and she's like a fan of somebody, and then they meet and things go down. So then the next thing that I got was The Whole Art Detection, Lost Mysteries of Sherlock Holmes by Lindsay Fay. And then I got Starship Grifters by Robert Kurls, and this is the first in a Rex and Island series or whatever, but it's like about this like guy who like grifts and cons people, and he ends up winning this abandoned planet, but it turns out there's a lot of debt on that planet, and to escape like going to like some penal prison thing, he decides to run another con, playing two sides against each other. So this will be interesting. I'm really looking forward to this. Then the next thing that I got was Hell House by Richard Matheson. He wrote I Am Legend, so I've never listened to that, but saw the movie and I loved it. And then the next thing that I got was Sith by Neil Shusterman. This is the first book an arc of a Sith, and in this world there's like no hunger, nothing, everything's like plan, and there's actually no death. The only people who like deal in death are these people, Scythe, who are, what is that word? You know, the death person, but there's a name for them. Wow, I feel like doing that was not going to get that point across, but you guys kind of know what I'm talking about. So anyway, it's an actual job to be a Grim Reaper. Ha! Found it in my head. A Grim Reaper, and this guy and his best friend gets pulled to do the job, and they don't really want to be a Grim Reaper, but it's either do that or, you know, die. And then moving on, I got Burnt Offerings by Robert Marskol. And I just, okay, yeah, this was another horror book, and it follows this girl, this husband and wife, and they went to go get a house to rent, and then they go with this one that the husband thinks seems shady because they can rent it, but they have to take care of this old woman who's gonna be behind one of the doors or whatever, and all they have to do is feed her, but it's weird, and things start getting even more weird. And then the next thing that I got was Heart Strikers by Rachel Aaron. I don't even remember what that is about. I'm not gonna lie to you. And then I got Nice Dragons Finish Last, which is the first book in the Heart Striker series by Rachel Aaron. That was stupid, me messing up on my own handwriting thing. But anyway, Nice Dragons Finish Last is about this dragon, and he just kind of stays in the background of his family. Like, he ain't there for all the fight and the messiness, and his mother is like, no, you can't do that, you need some more ambition. So she puts him and traps him into his human form, and then sends him into like the city, and he's had 1 month to be like a more aggressive, vine-hungering kind of dragon. And while he's trying this, he lives somewhere where dragons are not thought of as good at all, and things like that, and things go down. So I'm looking forward to it. It seems kind of comedic, and I already from the sample feel kind of sorry for him. And then the next thing that I got is the Leviathan series by Scott Westerfeld. It's been a long time since I read Leviathan, so I definitely need to reread it and continue on with the series, because I remember really loving it. So hopefully I still feel that same way. It was like a steampunker type series. And then I got, and the Leviathan includes Leviathan, Behemoth, and Goliath. And then the next thing that I got was Omega Force series by Joshua Denzel, and the first thing that I got was Omega Rising, which is the first book in that series. And it follows this guy, and he's just kind of out alone in the mountains, kind of like a self-imposed exile. But one day there's a crash in his yard, and he goes to check on it, and there's a space alien craft, and he gets abducted by aliens. Man, I listened to the sample, and it was kind of funny because, like, I already like the main character's humor and the alien humor, so I'm really looking forward to getting this and the sequels. Hopefully it's as good as I think it is. Sometimes I just build stuff up in my mind. And then the next thing that I got is Warrior's Path and A Warrior's Knowledge, book 1 and 2 in the Outcast series by David Asher. This is another fantasy series. I have no shortage of those. And then the next books are some Kindle books that I got was Akita the Witch by Ninia Okoto. Was it pronounced right in any way, shape, or form? I saw this one going around though quite a bit, and it's about this albino girl who lives in some part of Africa, and then there are some mastery fantasy things going on. This is another fantasy book. Who is surprised by that? And then I got Executed by R.R. Haywood. If you saw my last book haul, you'll know this is the second book in the Extracted trilogy, so I'm really looking forward to that, even though I haven't read the first one. And then I got The Luminaries by Eleanor Cotton, which is something that I've been eyeing, and I finally just decided to go ahead and get it, because surprisingly my library doesn't have it on Overdrive. And then I got The Dark Tower and Other Stories by C.S. Lewis. And then I got The Dispatcher by John Scalzi when it went down to $1.10. I think it might still be around $2.99 or something. I'm not sure if it is. I'll link it down below. But I love this. It came out on audiobook originally, and it was made for audiobook. It takes place in a world where people who are killed can come back to life. Like, there's no guarantee, like, if you murder someone, that they won't come back and tell on you. So this kind of has changed the world, and it kind of creates this job as a dispatcher where you are stationed like in hospitals to go kill someone. Maybe if the surgery seems to be like failing, they'll like kill that person so that they can come back and maybe rethink doing the surgery or doing the surgery in a different way. So I'm really looking forward to rereading that. And then I got The Color Purple by Alice Walker. I got My Lady Jane by Cynthia Ham, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. And this is some like historical young adult retelling. I forgot about which king. And then I got the Exongene series by Octavia E. Butler, and includes Dawn, Adult Rights, Imogen. And then I got Blood and Other Stories by Octavia as well. And then I got Rules of Attraction by Simone Eccles, the second book in the Rules of Attraction trilogy type thing. I still haven't read the first one, like I said I was going to this year, but hopefully things will change by the time that it ends. And then all the other books I think were physical books. So let's go ahead and get started on that. The first thing I got was from the Goodwill. I found 4 by Veronica Roth, and this turned out to be like 50 cents or 25 cents. I don't even remember. That's how crazily cheap it was. So even though I haven't even gotten past the first 25 pages of Divergent, I went ahead and got it because it was the only one I was really missing. And then I got from my library, this is like 10 cents, Magic by M.G. Sage, the first book in the Septimus Heap series. This is one I had always been eyeing, and it has like that prophecy, like the seventh son of the seventh son is really something, and that always interests me, so I'm really looking forward to finally getting to it. And then, well, this ain't a book, but it's Bobby Jones' Stroke of Genius. I really like this. I remember there was like 2 golf movies, this and The Legend of Bagger Vance, that I was really into for a while and kept rewatching, but I didn't own either one of them, so it's nice to have it. And then from Thrift Books, I went ahead and got Flock by Wendy DeSoul. And this is the 3rd book in this paranormal trilogy centering around storks. So I've never really heard anyone talk about it, but finally I have the 3rd one, so hopefully I will marathon them sometime soon and see what my thoughts are. And then I got book 2 and 3 in the Named trilogy, and it is The Named and The Dark, book 1 and 2. And I just rebought these because I already own the first 2 in paperback, and they weren't in the greatest condition from over the years and people borrowing them. So yeah, so I decided to go ahead and get these bad boys. I'm so excited to reread this trilogy because I remember loving it. Don't remember a lick of what it's about. I just remember just loving it and flying through it. So I decided to keep it that way of not knowing too much. And then for some pre-orders, I got Magnus Chase in the Gods of Asgard. This is the 3rd book. I think it's the final one. I don't know. I haven't started the series yet, but Rick Riding, yeah, I'm gonna catch up one day. And then I got Origin by Dan Brown. Probably should have waited because it went down by now because of the Christmas season, but sometimes you never know. It doesn't happen every year. So I really love the first 2 books, so I'm really looking forward to rereading Angels and Demons and the Da Vinci Code and continuing on with the series really soon. And then from Allyn for Christmas, I got Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Did you guys guess right what my gift was? It has a little thing right here, and I should have returned it because now I kind of regret it. But then Amazon, I swear sometimes I just don't want to deal with them because the other book could have came in worse. You know how it is. But I'm really looking forward to this. One of these years I'm going to finally finish my reread of Harry Potter from the last time I started rereading it, and then I'm going to start reading it in these illustrated editions. And then the next thing that I got were from Thrift Books. So the first thing that I got is Grief is a Thing with Feathers by Max Porter, and this has always been on my wish list. It's like some poetry / some, I think, a story in here, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then I got Stardust by Neil Gaiman. You guys are probably maybe looking behind me and like, ke-sha, don't you own that? But that copy got waterlogged, so when I saw it again on a book outlet, I'm like, just go ahead and get it. So at this point I've basically paid full price for it. But hey, at least I got them both cheap. And then the next thing that I got is the Melancholy Death of Oyster Boy and Other Stories by Tim Burton, which I was really excited to finally get my hands on, and I really ended up loving it, even if it was like the weirdest thing, and I'm definitely going to reread it sometime in the future. So there you go. And then the next thing that I got was Peter Pan, the illustrated interactive element. So now I have Peter Pan, The Jungle Book, and Beauty and the Beast, and I'm so very excited, and I'm definitely going to reread Peter Pan sometime soon in this edition. And then I got Midnight Cross by Charlene Harris, which has been on my wish list, but I finally decided to get it because I saw the TV show, and then you couldn't find the hardcover basically anywhere for any decent price, which is what happens when you get something and they turn it into a TV show, you know. So, and this was like the last copy, so I'm so excited, and it turned out to be an autographed copy, so that's awesome, right? And then the next thing that I got was from eBay, and it is The White Tower, the first book in the Allyn Chronicles by Michael Weishart. And this one, the magic is kind of outlawed because of a mage war that happened long ago, and people who are born of magic, and if they're found out, they are taken into the tower and they are kept there, and it follows like 3 separate different people and like on their quests. So some have to do with getting to the White Tower, hiding their magic, and being powerful with the sword. So this is going to be another fantasy series that I am going to start for myself. And then the next thing that I pre-ordered is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green, the signed copy, and I'm really looking forward to this. I've heard like some really great things, even from people who only like The Fault in Our Stars but didn't particularly like anything else by him, so I'm really looking forward to this. I still haven't read Looking for Alaska yet. That's the only book of his that I haven't really read, so I'm definitely probably going to read that one first and then get to this one. Maybe. We'll see. And then last but not least, I got Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castell. Magic is a con, and I am so looking forward to this. I probably have to read Tyrant's Throne first, which is the last book in his Greatcoat series, before I start on this series, but I'm so excited. I'll read you the synopsis. Kellen is moments away from facing his first mage's duel and the start of 4 trials that will make him a spellcaster. There's just one problem. His magic is gone. As his 16th birthday approaches, Kellen falls back on his cunning in a bid to avoid total disgrace. But when a daring stranger arrives in town, she challenges Kellen to take a different path. Ferris Parax is one of the mysterious Agrassi, a traveler who lives by her wit and the 3 decks of cards she carries. She's difficult and unpredictable, but she might be Kellen's only hope. So I'm really looking forward to this. As you guys know, sorcery, magic, spells, and all that thing deeply interests me. So you guys let me know what you guys bought recently, if you guys have bought any of the books that I've mentioned, if you guys plan to, or any books that you think based off this that I would be interested in. Let me know down below, and I will see you guys later. Expelliarmus.